Okay, right. So all of you already key in. Can, let's continue. All right. So I read your responses. Okay, so you talk about even the Bunsen burner parts also, yeah? Okay, can. Now, science and technology, very quickly, summary. Okay, we all know this already, yeah? Okay, you don't have to list exactly the same thing. These are just some examples. We know that there are so many, correct or not? Okay, there are so many inventions, okay, because of advancement in science and technology. So we have discovery of new medicine. Okay, we can also, invent life-saving devices. Okay, then we have because of technology, we also can carry on learning, isn't it? Okay, learning never stops. We can still continue to learn via e-learning, okay, even though we are locked down at home. This is something that we all are very clear of. That's how technology is very useful to us. Okay, and then in the past, when people work, right, they can only work 9 to 5, correct? Or 9 to 6. And they cannot work outside office hour. They are not able to reach out to their colleagues after office hour. You understand? So now, okay, to send a message, it's not like last time, you can only pass the message the next day. Okay, or you can only call the company, okay, that you want to contact the next day. Now it can be done via email easily, via the WhatsApp message. Okay, so things are now speed up a lot. But then, because of what is good, there will always be people who want to abuse technology. So they will do something that is not so right. And what is it that they will do? Okay, they'll create, chemical weapons. They will create even, they will create new bacteria. They will spread viruses, etc. So it is going to lead to a lot of issues in our lives. Then in terms of, we talk about emails, etc. So that kind of information technology, right? What can we do? Okay, there are so many fraud online now. People are cheating people's money. You send an SMS to someone to say that, the bank account, you better contact us now, to give us a certain confirmation that this is your account. Otherwise, it's going to be closed within 48 hours. So quickly you call them, then they ask you for name, they even ask you for PIN number, etc. And that's it. All your money will be gone. Right? Not. This is happening so frequently. Okay, not just old people are cheated. In the past, they always say old people are very, very naive or this, always get cheated. Young people are cheated these days also. All right. Yeah. Nadia, you're copying, is it? Okay. I'm going to go to the next slide.
I have a question.
Yes, Zishan.
For X-ray, when you think of X-ray, there might be radiation. So is it a benefit or is it danger?
Now, it is a benefit and it is also a danger. So there is no conclusive answer. You know why or not, Zishan? Now, in the past, long time ago, when you are hurt, there is no way doctors can tell whether there is a crack, that kind of, very fine, tiny crack in your bones. Okay, in the past, the doctor will try to touch a bit, and then touch here and there. Oh, it seems like it's okay. We don't know what is the exact issue. So olden days, there's no way to tell. But now we can, right? So we will actually use X-ray. But X-ray is not something that you use 24/7, isn't it? Do you go to the doctor and say, oh, I want to take X-ray today? Oh, I want to do an X-ray today. You think the doctor will allow you? No, right? It's only when it is necessary. Remember this, only when it is necessary. Can? Yeah. So danger, yes, of course, there will be danger, but we are not supposed to abuse it. Right? We are supposed to use it to our needs, only to our needs. You understand now? Okay? Good question. It's good to ask. If you're not sure, just ask. Now, one thing you can do, Nadia, you can actually screenshot. Or you can take your handphone and screenshot also. I don't mind. Up to you.
I already screenshot the thing.
Okay, good. Yeah, that's important. You can also rewatch today's lesson. Okay, another time. So not to worry about this. If you miss anything, okay, you remember you can always watch the video again, the recorded lesson. So other things are these. These are just examples. I don't think I have to go through in detail all these, right? Okay, any of you need me to go through any of this in detail? You only need to specify a few examples, okay? This topic is important for you to understand how technology is so useful to us in many areas of our life. But at the same time, it can also cause a lot of problems. Do you understand this part? Okay, can I? Unluck, you okay? Unluck, I can't even see your
I am
brow, no. I
okay.
can only see your hair. I can't even see your eyebrow. Once a while, I can get a glimpse of your eyebrow only. I want to see your face. Okay? It's easier for me to see whether you understood or not. Can? Adjust your camera, please, a little bit. Maybe half your face at least. No? Still cannot? Okay, got half a face. Can. Yes, good. If I can see your whole face, even better. Okay, one thing we are very, very particular about, we are very concerned about is the manipulation of genes. Okay, so there are people who are thinking about, cloning, all right? There are people thinking about, selectively pick up the genes they want in their children. But this is not the right thing to do. Okay, this one, you're actually trying to play God. We shouldn't. We should never, ever try to play God. Okay, by selecting only the good genes, what if, you create a living being, maybe having a shorter life? You never know. Correct or not? Because God made it so. We are supposed to be born this way. Just accept it. Correct? That's what I believe in. Okay? Because, genes, right, they manipulated for the plants and the fruits, etc., and the flowers, but it doesn't mean it can be done for human beings. All right? Okay, then lastly, we have been very efficient in producing goods. Last time, maybe a bag or a pair of shoes probably take 2 months, 3 months to make. Now, they can actually use the factory to manufacture in bulk. So one day can make 1,000 bags compared to, last time, one bag can only be made in 2 months or 3 months. Yeah. Okay, lab safety. I like this video, so I'm going to let you watch this.
Ah, labs. We love labs. They're the best part of science, the whole doing part. And since you're probably going to be doing some amazing science labs this year, we thought we'd outline a few major points of general lab safety. Because safety is a big deal. And while this is certainly not all the points of safety, always read through the safety guidelines specific to the lab you're doing, these are some major general safety rules that apply for many types of labs. First, let's talk about shoes. And hair. We have neither of those, but if you do, long hair needs to be pulled back. You should wear closed-toed shoes because you don't want to be pouring something toxic on your feet or walking on broken glass. Speaking of broken glass, bags and stuff in the aisles and lab rooms do not help. You want a clear path and not have your belongings out where someone could trip over them. And no horseplay. To protect your eyes, wear goggles. And when we say wear goggles, we all know that on your forehead doesn't count. If you do feel as though something has gotten in your eyes, you will want to use the eye wash station, which will require you to hold your eyes open under the running water. If your lab involves working with specimens or chemicals, you will likely be advised to wear gloves. Gloves are important. Yes, sometimes they make your hands feel clammy, but you know what's worse? Chemicals that can irritate or burn your skin. If you have an allergy to latex, you should make sure that the gloves you are using are latex-free. Ask your instructor. In fact, if you have any allergies, you should let your instructor know. When you finish a lab, even if you wore gloves, it's a good idea to wash your hands after time in the lab. Some labs may require you to wear an apron to protect your clothes. Depending on what type of course you are in and the type of labs you are doing, you also might have a safety shower, which will dump a very large amount of water on you if you get some type of hazardous chemical on you. If you accidentally break glassware, don't pick it up. It could cut you. A broom and a dustpan should be used to clean it up, and there should be a place designated for broken glass. Not the regular trash, where it would just break through the trash liner. If you see glassware that is chipped already, don't use it and tell your instructor. Never drink or eat anything in the lab. That includes chemicals. Don't taste or smell chemicals. Read labels. Don't ever pour chemicals that you may be using back into the bottle that they came from. As soon as you finish pouring chemicals out of a container, the container should be immediately closed. When you're done with a chemical, you want to make sure you properly dispose of it. Many chemicals can't just be put down the drain. In fact, some solid items that you use in your labs also cannot be thrown away in the regular trash and have to be disposed of as hazardous waste. Always check with your instructor. In some labs, you may have a special ventilation system, also known as a fume hood. This is used when dealing with volatile substances, which is a fancy way of describing a substance that can easily vaporize. Some of your labs may require the fume hood because some of these volatile substances may be harmful if you inhale them. When you're heating things up, like this test tube in a hot water bath, don't have the test tube pointed towards you. Use tongs or heat protective gloves to handle the test tube that you may be heating. Also, electricity and water are not a good mix. So when you're doing your super awesome microscope lab, you want to keep the water away from the electrical cord. And speaking of microscopes, we could have an entire video on just working with the microscope. But for now, we'll make sure to mention carrying it with 2 hands. One hand underneath the base, and the other holding the microscope arm. If you're using any special science equipment, it's important to know how to carefully carry it. If you are in a lab that has an open flame, obviously be aware of the flame. Review with your instructor how to operate the valve that controls the gas fueling the flame. Review with your instructor how to properly heat the various glassware that will be suspended over the flame. Every time you are in the lab with an open flame, you must keep all materials that may be flammable away from the area near the flame. Depending on the types of labs you're doing, your lab room may also have a fire extinguisher and/or a fire blanket in the room. Finally, the MSDS. It stands for Material Safety Data Sheet. It's available for pretty much every substance you use in your lab. You should refer to it because it will give you all kinds of safety information on a substance, including how to safely handle it, what to do if there's an accident with it, how to safely dispose of it, and more. Okay, so yeah, that was a lot. And there are so many more safety guidelines that may be specific to the lab that you're going to do. So you always want to go through specific guidelines in advance of your lab. We're going to put some items up here so you can pause this video and determine where those items are if they're relevant to your lab room. Remember, don't be intimidated. Just respect safety rules and guidelines because if you're following them, hands-on science is simply awesome. In addition to the hands-on part of science, you can always check out our science comic video clips that may be helpful on a variety of science topics you might cover this year. Well, that's it for the Amoeba Sisters, and we remind you to stay curious.
Okay, so I like this video. It's a very quick summary of what you can do, cannot do, etc. But I'm very sure in school, I think the teachers already have gone through with you, right? Okay, certain things that I know teachers will add in extra things, like how you walk into the lab, where do you sit, sitting arrangement, all given to you, isn't it? You cannot anyhow sit where you like, correct? Nadia, correct or not? So you're already given your own seat, right? I think should be according to register number, if I'm not wrong. No, okay, yeah, different school, different practices. Okay, and then you know where to collect the various chemicals or the apparatus, correct or not? There are certain location given to it. And then the goggles also, do you have your own goggles? Personal one, okay. But of course, the science lab would have some backup, let's say you forget to bring your own, you can actually use the one in the science lab.